talking about astrology. So, Courtney is a somatic empowerment coach. She specializes in helping others connect with their most authentic selves. Her journey began after transformative life events that led her to explore holistic wellness practices, things like meditation, chakra healing, energy work. And she weaves together different modalities like crystals, elemental healing, intuitive guidance to create a deeply restorative experience for her clients. Courtney's approach is grounded in balancing the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual energies to promote healing and empowerment. And she is passionate about creating sacred space for transformation and alignment. So, Courtney, we're back here again. This time we're talking about astrology. So, take
Yes.
it away, sis.
All right. So we talked a lot about in different conversations outside of the podcast about Western astrology versus true sky astrology and the fact that there are different types of astrology. And I think that's kind of where I want to begin is that a lot of people, especially here in the US, if that's where you're listening from, we know Western astrology or tropical astrology. But what we aren't told is that there are so many different types of astrology that, we don't even explore these because this is all we know. So, the astrology that I practice, I call it true sky astrology, and that's simply because it means looking at the sky. So I feel like it's very, yeah, right? Like it's very it tells you what it is in the name. Uh, and I found this specifically because I followed Western astrology for years and years and years. And then one day, like probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was like, I don't like vibe with it. Like, I don't, it doesn't feel right. In Western astrology, I am an Aquarius sun, a Sagittarius moon, and a Gemini rising. Okay. Those are my big three in Western astrology. So everybody was telling me like I'd get the usual oh my God, that's so Aquarian of you. Oh my God, you're such an Aquarius. And I was like, but why? Like I don't feel connected to that. So I was like, all right, maybe I just don't believe in astrology anymore. I set it aside for some time. And then all of a sudden, somebody that I followed on Instagram started talking about sidereal astrology or true sky astrology or whatever you want to call it. But basically, the astrology that looks at the sky instead of relying on, other people to tell us what's going on. And I'll get into a little bit about the differences too in a bit, but that was kind of my introduction to true sky astrology and really starting to dive into that. So she started talking about it, and I was like, well, what is this? And I did my research. I was like, well, how do I get mine? How do I know this? And I had a reading done with the same person that she got her reading done with, and it was amazing. Um, and I was like, yes, this is it. So to like give a comparison, right? My Western astrology, I'm Aquarius moon, Sagittarius, Aquarius sun, Sagittarius moon, and Gemini rising. In True Sky, I am a Capricorn sun, an Ophiuchus moon, and a Taurus rising.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
Yes. So it's all different for me.
Okay.
And we'll talk a little bit about Ophiuchus too, because I know that a lot of people listening are probably like, what?
You
You're
read
a what moon?
I'm like, what's a ficus? I do know that blue sky is 13,
Yes.
right? Okay. So you're
Yeah.
a little Western, but yeah, we're here to learn and explore. So,
Yeah. Okay, so um differences, Western versus True Sky. So the biggest difference, right, is Western astrology is based on earthly seasons, right? So it takes the 12 main astrological signs, the 12 main zodiac signs, and divides them up into very quaint little 45-degree slices. 45? Somewhere around that. I don't know why I'm blanking on the exact number right now, but like the
I think,
amount of degrees is the same throughout the
oh,
33. It's
yeah,
33, isn't it?
circle. I think,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's look it up.
Yeah, right. We're here. We're on
We're here.
computers.
5 degrees for Western. Astrology. I am a partial astrology guru. Like, I can tell you what your sign is. Can't tell you when you're on the cusp always, but I can look at your chart.
And like semi-interpret it.
Yeah, and then be able to 30 degrees. Oh,
Okay, 30, yeah. Um, okay, so it divides all 12 signs into this very specific 30 degrees, and every 3-ish months, right, we get a new season, right? Which is, or every, oh my God, the 20th, 21st, or whatever of the month, we get a new season. I don't know why I'm thinking like seasons of the year versus seasons of astrology right now. Regardless. We
every
do get also a new earthly season every 3 months, in case you all didn't.
as I was saying, quarters. Winter.
But so that's Western astrology, right? It's fine. True sky astrology, and the reason that I have no idea how many degrees Western astrology is because true sky doesn't have that. It's based on the size of the constellations that are on the line, oh my God, why am I blanking on this word again? The like
Welcome to Mercury
yeah,
retrograde.
right? Seriously. Okay, so hey, astrology, right? We're talking astrology today. Mercury's in retrograde, and while I don't always love the fact that people blame the planets and the stars for all of their problems, I
It's
will say the communication piece has been especially hard for me. This Mercury, I can like barely talk.
I understand. On the note of Mercury
Yeah,
retrograde. Okay, so I do Western astrology. Did I know that?
yeah,
No, I didn't know the degrees. But I'm not a guru in that.
yeah,
I read charts and I do interpretations through those things.
yeah.
I love it because if somebody ever told me that I was not a Leo, we'd have a problem. Um,
We're gonna check that out today.
yeah, no, I
Stay
know it.
tuned.
I know it isn't. I'm like dismiss. Off
It
my
it
head.
actually might be because Leo is a very large sign. So the constellation Leo is, I think, the third largest astrological sign, right? Virgo is the absolute largest. Taurus is up there as well. And then we have Leo. So we have a lot of Virgos, Leos, and Tauruses in the world.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
No, I like being special. Like, so one of the things with Mercury retrograde right now, which we're at the peak, we're getting closer to the end. So my clients
Mhm.
this morning were like, what the heck is going on
Yeah.
in the planets? Because I cannot get my together.
Yes.
I'm like, well, let's talk about this for a second. For starters, we're in Mercury retrograde along with every other retrograde.
It is retrograde season. Yeah.
And there's a lot.
Yeah.
And communication gets affected, the way people interpret things. Mercury
Yeah.
is all about the communication of your words and your mind. So, how are
Mhm.
you talking to yourself? So if you've been feeling a little fuzzy, or you've been reminiscing on the past, or getting slightly aggravated with people a lot easier than normal, you might have the planets to blame.
Yes. But that is not an excuse for your behavior. You still have full control over your behavior. That's my caveat.
That's the correct caveat. It's not.
You are absolutely positively okay with utilizing astrology to help deeper understand yourself and the world around you. It is not a tool to make excuses for your behavior, though.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so the difference is
Yes. So
between,
the difference is Western astrology is earth
yeah,
based, right? Sees earth seasoned based. True sky astrology is based on what's actually happening in the sky. So right now, as you have stated, it's Leo season, right? And just FYI, because I know that this is going to go out way later than when we actually recorded this. So an FYI that today is August 5th. This is the date of recording. And I'm actually going to show you today's chart,
oh, okay.
right? So August 5th, it is supposedly Leo season.
She's got
but let's
Cancer.
see. All right, can you see the
Uh,
chart?
I can't see any. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, cool.
All right, so this is today. We're gonna go to the actual chart.
Cancer.
Yes. So this is my favorite website to get True Sky Astrology. You can also utilize apps on your phone. I will send Maisie you the resources that I use to put into the description, so you can find those below here. But this one is called Mastering the Zodiac, and you can look up the true sky signs here. So all I did today was I put in August 5th, 2025. I did not put in a time just because we're not going to look at rising because that's really what time matters for. So as we can see here, this little circle with the dot in the middle, that's the sun. So we are right on the cusp of Cancer and Leo season right now. So Leo season is just starting within the next couple of days.
So I am a Leo.
Hold up,
Oh,
because this is another thing about True Sky Astrology. We know scientifically that the universe is expanding constantly, right? So True Sky Astrology is not static. August 5th, a couple hundred years ago, was way closer to Gemini season than it was to Leo season, likely, right? And you'd have to go way, way back in like an app to figure that out, which you can. You can go back the years as much as you want to and see that. But I state that because this is not a static type of astrology. Western astrology is because it's based off of very specific degrees and earth-based, okay? True sky is not. So there are a couple of little caveats, but we are literally on the brink of Leo season. So even if somebody was born today, August 5th, they would technically be a Cancer. However, they would have a lot of Leo in them too, because they are literally a degree away from Leo.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
My birthday
Um,
is 2 days, everyone, just so you
we're gonna look at yours in a minute. Hold up.
know.
We also, as you can see, these like little RXs are every planet that's in retrograde right now. So we've got Mercury retrograde happening in Cancer right now. So that's toying a lot with our emotions, right? Um, We also have Pluto over here in retrograde, which is in Capricorn. So Pluto is an outer planet, so we don't feel it as much, but he's our messenger planet, our planet of transformation. So think of it as like your connection of like crown chakra. Um,
Hmm.
he is how we communicate with something higher than us, something more than us, whether that be God, the universe, whatever it is that you believe in. He helps with that. It's also blah, 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 planet of transformation. So right now, if you're going through something that is transforming your life in any way, if things feel like they're a cluster right now and everything has blown up, you can blame partially Pluto retrograde for this, but it's not a bad thing. And here's why. When we have parts of our life blow up, it's because it's aligning us in other areas, right? So retrogrades are not meant to be bad. They're just different. They're a way to change. They're a way for us to realign ourselves with what we're really meant to do. So we have Pluto, so that's two planets so far. We've also got Saturn in retrograde, which thank you, it's in Pisces now, because my Saturn retrograde or my Saturn placement is in Aquarius, and the retrograde that we've had over the past few years has hit my Saturn return 3 times, and it was a mess, girl.
The challenges, the challenges you must have been going through.
All of them. And let me tell you, once Saturn moved out of Aquarius, I was like, whoa, so this is what life is supposed to feel like.
Girl, I feel it because I was just sitting here trying to think about the last time this specific challenge came up in my life, and I'm like, somebody looked at my chart on that date to see where everything was like squaring my north node,
Yep.
like lesson, 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 lesson. And I was like, fuck this. I
Yeah.
just jumped shit. I remember the last time there was a big, a major challenge, and I'm like, shit.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Saturn is if we think about kind of mother father, Saturn is our father parent, a more authoritative, like Saturn's all about structure, routine. So, and depending on what house your Saturn falls into, it can affect different areas of your life. But mine specifically was career. So yeah, I felt that like crazy. So Saturn is also in retrograde right now. Um, Actually, you know what? Is Saturn actually conjunct the North Node? Oh no, he's way up here. He's basically conjunct with Neptune. So Neptune is also in retrograde, uh, in Pisces, and Neptune is also another like watery type of sign. It's also an outer planet. So again, we're not going to feel Neptune as much, kind of like Pluto. We're going to feel Saturn a little bit more because he's in a little bit more versus Neptune is on the outer ring. Um, but Neptune is connected to, in my opinion, our power, right? Our power as a collective community. And I think we're seeing that play a lot out in the world right now. People are more apt to stand up for themselves, stand up for others. We're seeing a lot of changes in the world collectively as well. So the retrograde, I think, is kind of, it could be backtracking some progress a little bit. But that doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way forever. It's just, like I said, a realignment is what retrogrades are for. So we're realigning what holds our power, what we're going to do moving forward with our power, things like that. And then this last one up here just went into retrograde. This is Chiron, and Chiron is one of my favorites because Chiron is the wounded healer. He is a way for us to recognize that we are never going to be perfect. We are never going to be 100% healed, but that doesn't mean that we can't move forward in order to help others, in order to heal ourselves, in order to do whatever it is that we need to do. So with Chiron and retrograde, we may be feeling those unhealed parts of ourselves currently. And this is more, think shadow work with this. So seeing parts of ourselves that we may not like, seeing parts of others that reflect that and how we feel about ourselves, right? Because everybody's a mirror. And we may get triggered a lot because of Chiron and retrograde. And fun fact, Chiron is actually a meteor that got stuck in orbit between Jupiter and Saturn. So he's in that ring there.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. So the other fun thing about astrology that I started learning when I focused on true sky astrology is that all of these are like Greek mythology, Roman mythology, right? So if you want to know more about what each planet means, just look up their mythology,
Yeah, that's pretty true.
right?
Hmm.
So this is what things look like right now. Um, and like I said, there's some other things too. Mars right now is in Virgo. Mars is our planet of our root chakra is kind of what I attribute it to. It's connected to aggression, it's connected to anger, but it's also connected to like things that stabilize us, right? So, as you were talking about before with Mercury retrograde, yes, we may be getting a little bit more aggravated because of Mercury retrograde, and we may be actually expressing that vocally with our communication skills. But Mars is in Virgo. So a lot of a lot of times right now, it's very grounded. It's very methodical. It's very structured in the way that we approach our aggressiveness, our anger, our, it's called for. in other words. Most of the time, again, this is not a way for you to justify or excuse behaviors. It's a way to understand yourself and others around you.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, Mars is also where you take action.
Yes,
You're
masculine.
And with it being in Virgo and True Sky, there's more calculations there. You're detailing things like a lot of my clients, I'm like, focus on the goalpost.
Yes,
The goalpost doesn't move. This is you. It's just the gap in here of what you're seeing. So like you're right here, you're so close. But it's kind of like that whenever you're driving, you got that mirror over there that says objects in mirror are closer than they appear, right? That's exactly what's going on in this in between. If you keep getting distracted by all the things that are going on, you're going to pull yourself out of alignment. But with Mars, in true sky, with Mars and Virgo, you're keeping yourself more in a grounded, calculated state. So Mercury retrograde is basically coming in to just reconnect those thoughts,
yes,
revive your passion, rework through those things, reflect, refocus is all it is. And that's a lot of what I've been coaching my client through. Like,
yes.
time y'all think there's so many things going on. Recenter. We'll get this.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Perfect. I love that. Um, I want to go back to how I said that not all of these are perfectly 30 degrees like they are in Western astrology. So as we can see, this right here is the start of Virgo.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is the end. So that's a very large sign. Now we see Libra afterwards, a lot smaller, right? Because it takes up less of the sky, less space in the sky. Scorpio, even smaller. Ophiuchus, even smaller. Ophiuchus season is literally like 4 or 5 days. It's really, really small.
okay.
So Virgo is the largest sign. It takes up the most degrees. Leo is also, as you can see, a large sign here. Pisces, I think, is the second largest. And Taurus is also a pretty large sign. So we've got a few big signs, but we've also got some smaller ones, right? And like I said, the universe is expanding. So every, I don't know, couple of decades, maybe more than that. I don't really know the science, like the true science behind that, but these are going to continue to expand and grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So these may change
Mm,
in later years. It doesn't happen very quickly, but if you look back at today, 100 years from now, it's going to look a little bit different than it does, you know, when you look at it today.
yeah.
Like
Same. Okay.
if the date 100 years from now, August 5th, is not going to look the same as today,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. So there's all that. That's a lot of information. I
That
feel like we're just like going. But I also want to talk about Ophiuchus because this is one that
nobody knows about.
nobody knows about. This is the 13th sign, the like abundance sign, essentially, right? Um, I'm gonna tell you a story here.
Okay.
In the true sky or sidereal astrology world, we often talk about Ophiuchus being the 13th sign. And we often get asked, well, what happened to it in Western astrology? Why did this go away? Why did they choose to leave Ophiuchus off instead of another sign? Um, or why not just keep it on there, right? It's part of this area of the sky. Why not just have it on there and have it be 13 signs? Well, let me tell you, 13, people are afraid of the number, aren't they? People are afraid of the number 13. When we talk about Friday the 13th, what do we think of? We think of Friday the 13th, the movie. We think about horror films. We think about bad luck. We think about, we can't walk under ladders unless we bless ourselves. We we can't go by a cemetery unless we hold our breath, like that kind of stuff. So 13 has not always been a bad number, but it has grown into this bad juju type of number. It actually used to be a very sacred number, and it's actually connected very much with the female energy. 13 is actually the number of the universe. So
Really?
it is a very sacred number. There, if you look at like a turtle shell, which in many different cultures is looked at as the it's looked at as like the universe, like it holds the universe. There are actually 13 different sections of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my theory, and this is my theory, my opinion, very modernized. I have this idea that way back in ancient times, they were building the Gregorian calendar and they were like, oh God, 13, you just can't divide that up evenly. It's all a mess. Okay, so here instead of 13, let's just drop something off. Let's get rid of it. Let's just go to 12. That's going to make things so much easier, the maths. And, it's also going to like, I can swear, right?
Yeah, you can swear.
Okay, it's going to fuck everything up and it's going to be great. It's going to create chaos in the world. So instead of having 13 months in the year, which would go through each moon cycle of the year,
Yeah.
we're going to drop the 13th month and we're just going to have 12. And then as we build out the astrology, we're going to drop one sign. The one that actually is connected most with dark feminine,
Okay.
with
Yep.
transformation,
Yep.
with the power of darkness and our shadow selves. We're going to drop that because we don't like that. And we don't want people to understand that connecting to our shadow, connecting to our darkness is actually a secret power. So we're going to drop Ophiuchus, which is not the 13th sign. He's actually the ninth sign. The
Oh,
13th sign is Pisces because
mm,
Aries is the first sign of the astrological season, right?
correct. Pisces is always
So,
left.
yes, yeah. So they dropped Ophiuchus, and lo and behold, they separated everything out into 30 degrees, as we learned earlier today. And we
Fun
have,
facts.
yeah, and we have a very structured, very aesthetically pleasing, good looking astrology chart, right? So
Yeah.
again, that's my theory of how everything worked. It's not historically accurate, but it's a fun
I
way to
like
describe it.
you might have been there. You might have been the one saying, keep it.
Yeah, right? So that's like a high level overview of true sky astrology.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then basically what you are, because there's an extra sign, because everything is definitely drawn out differently,
Mhm.
then whatever you typically are, you may not align to. That's interesting that you said that. Most people that I've talked to now, when I do chart readings, I go based on personality. I see colors so I
Mhm.
can better map, with clients. But also, I've heard from a lot of people like when you said kind of like you, oh, everything that they talk about with Aquarius, that doesn't align to me.
Mhm.
I will tell you, a lot of Cancer does align with me.
I
And
bet you're a cusper.
I am a cusper. Do I ever want to say that I am a Cancer in True Sky Astrology? No. No, I didn't say it because I'm a Leo. But now that I know that it's very cuspy, I mean, well, I just did that.
Well, hey, let's take a look at your chart
Okay. All
and
right.
see what true sky
Break
you
it.
are.
Break
Ready?
it down.
All right, here we go.
See that? It says Cancer.
Yeah, but okay, do you see this?
I
You
do.
are you are literally you are 0 degrees in Leo and you are also like 0 degrees in Cancer. You are literally the line.
I know.
So you
Like,
have your sun sign, right? And I also want to caveat this with you are not your sun sign. Your sun sign is a portion of your chart. Your sun sign is your outward energy. How are you okay? You got it in your hair.
could have got my hair. It's falling.
Your sun sign is your outward energy, how people see you in the world and how you like what lights you up, what's really exciting for you. That is your sun sign. It's not who you are. It's not your personality, right? Unless you make it that way, like, you know, you're a true Leo.
Damn. How dare people think different?
So, because you are literally the most cusp of Cancer and Leo, you're going to have a lot of Cancer like attributes, but you're also going to be very much a Leo too. You're going to have those two things be true for you. And like I said, that's what lights you up. So the work that you do, yes, you have to be confident. Yes, you have to go out and you have to be a go-getter to do it. But guess what? It also relies a lot on emotions,
Yes, it does.
right? Your emotions drive you to continue doing what you're doing,
Yep.
right? So I mean, that's a piece of it too. It's not that Cancer is like this sappy little sign that all they do is sit around and cry all day. What it is that your emotions are a big part of you. And it's not to say that you're not controlling your emotions, it's just that they're a big part of your life.
Yeah, they
And
are.
so your emotions are a very big part of your life.
They are. It's why, and also I will say this in a lot of the work that I do, which you know, and if for those of you that don't know, I'm a holistic health practitioner and a trauma healer. So I feel what my clients feel. I have
Mhm.
somebody was, I don't know, doing energy work one day and she was like, "Oh my God, you're like at 100% on feeling." And I'm like, if you would look at my chart, you would be like, everything makes sense because it is. Everything is based on feels, everything is based on emotions and like pinpointing those things very
Yeah.
specifically. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Can we also take a look at what else is in Cancer?
My Chiron.
Your Chiron's in Cancer. So you're a wounded healer. Yeah.
Okay.
So what this means, right, for those who want a deeper understanding of Chiron and Cancer, there's probably a lot of emotional healing that you have to do or that you have had to do in your life. I'm going to probably take a gander here and say that growing up in childhood, you were probably a pretty emotional person and you didn't really understand why. And you may have experienced, and again, I'm like assuming things right now, so please tell me if I'm wrong with this, but it wouldn't surprise me if you were told a lot of like, oh God, you're too emotional, you're way too sensitive, like blah blah blah. So there's a shadow side to that for you. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Much. You're too much. You're too loud.
Yep.
This,
Yep.
do
And
that.
that's pretty typical for somebody who, especially a woman who has emotions and shows them pretty authentically, expresses them. Um, which is why I kind of assumed it, but that shadow piece there, that's what the Chiron is. That's why you probably have a lot of dark thoughts about, well, can I be this emotional? And do I actually trust my emotions? How much of them can I trust? How much of them are actually like true? How much of them are other people's? How do I separate that? Probably a lot of navigating those different
Yep.
things throughout your life.
And I also see that it's in the second house. So a
Yeah.
lot that is related to self-worth and
Hmm.
spaces growing up. Am I good enough? Am I gonna make it? Everybody said, "Oh, this is not right,
Yeah.
not you." Da 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 da. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's a big one. Your moon, we're gonna go through like your big three for sure. Your moon is in Gemini. What's your moon in Western?
My moon's in Cancer.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So your moon in True Sky is in Gemini. It's pretty early in Gemini as well. So the moon is connected to your emotions. It's your feminine side, it's your inner side. So a lot of people may not actually see this part of you, your moon sign. You may share it with people that you are really intimate with, a partner, a really close friend, a couple of family members, something like that. So for you, your moon is in Gemini, and this means that I have a very different opinion about Gemini than most people because one of the reasons that I got so turned off from Western astrology is because I kept hearing people being like, oh God, Geminis, they're such two-faced bitches. Blah, 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 blah. I hate that.
Let,
No,
let
no, no, no.
no, Geminis are ping pongy.
Yes. Yeah.
Playing pong.
I actually see Gemini, so I had to reframe Gemini because I was Gemini moon in Western astrology. And I was like, I hate what people are saying about me, so I'm going to change it.
Yeah, I'm a
Um,
rising in Western astrology. And
yeah.
people would say that it's like, no, I ping pong. I
Yeah.
and you're absolutely right. When I'm in my most self-expressive state, my poor boyfriend, like we will have conversations, and girl, I swear to God, we've been having a conversation in my brain. And then when he goes, hang on, left field. Um, who was having this conversation? What were we talking about? And what did I agree to? And I'm like, weren't you here for it? And he's like, no. You were in the middle of a sentence and jumped over here. And I'm like, Gemini's playing ping pong. That's what it keeps sounding like.
Yeah. Yes. So I see it as two like a lot of different perspectives,
Mhm.
right? Being able to understand emotions from different perspectives, being able to see other people and where they come from different perspectives. And I'm actually going to assume that you are a person, particularly because of your work, but you are a person likely that people share a lot of their inner world with, right? And for you being a moon sign in Gemini, you are able to understand it and empathize with it better because you have that ability to be like, oh, well, here, I'm feeling angry right now. Okay, let's see here. Is this valid? Okay, yeah, why? What's happening? Like you go through a whole conversation with your emotions and with every emotion you have. Is that
Mhm.
true?
Yeah. Yeah. We're always checking it out.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think Gemini is actually a really cool sign, but you
Yeah,
know,
I always say it's playing ping pong.
yeah,
We're playing ping pong. Just give me a
yeah,
minute to circle back, and when I get it together. And also I know that Gemini, just from a lot of interpretations that I've done as well,
yeah,
it's that overdoing,
yes.
overextending, because there
Mhm.
is it's really hard to find that balance.
Yeah,
Libras have they're great at balance. They bring in that balance. Aquarius can be the voice of reason. Gemini, let us be fun and flirty and playful and
yeah.
comes back down whenever the balloon gets too high and you're like, hey, your rope's about to run out. Okay, I'm coming.
Yes. So here, I actually, because I do a lot of like elemental work, each of the astrology signs are associated with a different element. And they actually rotate. So, like we said, Aries is the first sign of the astrological year. That's a fire sign. Taurus is a earth sign. Gemini is a air
Yeah.
sign, and Cancer is a water sign, right? So these first four of the zodiac are the first four of the elements as well. So I see these four signs as kind of a little bit more naive in those elements, right? So for Gemini, it being the first air sign, air is all about intelligence. It's about intellect. It's about, they're the people that are hitting the books and they're trying to understand the world. But because Gemini is so far again, like close to the beginning, it's the one that's like, I don't really know what to do. I don't really know where to go. So I'm just going to kind of do it all and I'm going to get as much information as I can, right? Whereas we start going into Leo, that's the second fire sign. Virgo is the second earth sign. Libra is the second air sign. And Scorpio is the second water sign. They're a little bit like if the first four are children, these next four are like adolescents.
Yeah.
right? So they're a little bit more sassy. They've got a little bit more attitude. So continuing on with the air sign as an example, Libra, they've got their shit a little bit more together. But guess what? Their scales are exactly the way that they want them to be. Like they're trying to control it, right?
Mm.
They're trying to keep it balanced, and they're doing that by manipulating what goes on what side and how they can keep it the most balanced. So when it falls off, they're like, "Oh, I got to do something to get it back again." So they're a little bit more controlling. They're a little bit more like I don't know. They're like so strict about balance. They're like they really freak out when there's not a lot of balance,
Oh,
right?
yeah. My best friend who's a Libra, and dear God, we got to bring her back to reality sometimes.
And there's nothing bad about any of those words that I said, right? I know that a lot of the connotations of the words that I said are considered bad. That's not it. That's not what I'm saying. There's no bad anything about it. It's just that they're a little bit more controlling and they like to manipulate things so that it goes a little bit more in balance than out of balance. They like balance. That's their focus in life. And depending on what's exactly in that is gonna and where the what the house it is that's in
Yeah.
it too, it's gonna depend on what area of life that affects and how it does. Um, but then we go into Ophiuchus is a sign of its own because it's ethereal, right? So I don't really count Ophiuchus in this type of description. But because it's ethereal, it's universal, it contains all of the elements, right? So it's everything and nothing all at once. But then we get into the last four, which is Sagittarius, that's a fire sign. Capricorn is an earth sign. Aquarius is an air sign. And then Pisces is a water sign. So Aquarians, these are like the adult
Yep.
hoodness of the astrological signs. So Aquarius is more like, I know what I'm doing. I know where I need to go. I know exactly what I need to look for, and I know exactly how to get there. This is the exact thing that I'm going to look up and research. And then once I'm done with this, I'll move on to the next thing. But I'm not going to move on to the next thing until I'm done with this first. They're
Process.
structured. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
they
Process.
know what to do. They have a process. They've lived it before. Um, they've learned, right? So it's just the evolution of
Yeah.
the zodiac. So that could be why Geminis are more ping-pongy. That could be why um, I associate Aries with like kind of a wildfire where you can't really contain it all that much, where as like Leos are kind of more of a bonfire, right? It's a little scary because it could just kind of blow up in your face, but it's also pretty contained. And
Never.
then, right, Sagittarius to me is kind of like a campfire,
Mm.
right? It can get big if you really want it to, but it's contained and it's probably not going to do too much harm,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, it's that evolution. And I love talking about that. I think it's so interesting. Um, because you too, right? Your big three are all on the beginning half,
I was about
the
to say
beginning quarter.
the kitty half.
Yeah. The sun is kind of in the second quarter, right? Because you're on the line of Leo and Cancer, right? So you've got some of the like childhood like energy of the Cancer, but you've also got some of the like adolescent fire Leo energy, right? Your moon is in Gemini, which is definitely on the more like child side. And your rising, which is right here, this AS right here, your rising is Taurus, which is mine too. I'm a Taurus rising in True Sky. Yeah.
Fun.
Um, so your rising sign is really what you're meant to do in this life, what you're meant to learn in this life. And you and me, girl, we're learning how to rest. We're learning how to slow down. We're learning how to say no. We're learning how to stop when we need to stop and go when it's time to go and not a minute sooner. We're learning how to regulate. We're learning how to come down from chaos, right? Like Taurus is the bull. It's stubborn. It's like, no, we're gonna put my foot in the dirt and it's not moving until I tell it to,
Yeah.
right? So when it's in our rising, we're learning how to do that. We're learning how to navigate our life in that way. And I don't know about you, but for me, I went and I think we might have talked about this on the last podcast a little bit, but I went through about a decade of burnout before I realized, oh shoot, I feel awful. I have no boundaries. I am the biggest people pleaser there's ever been, which I probably wasn't, but it felt like it at the time. I am a huge perfectionist. I am so unhappy and I don't know why. I had to learn how to slow down. I had to learn how to regulate my nervous system. I had to learn that it's okay to pause, to take a breath without feeling guilty about it, because as a human being, that's what I deserve. And it wouldn't surprise me if you've had a similar story.
Oh, 100%. And we've had deeper talks on this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I will tell you this, I love the fact that I learned a lot of that lesson a lot sooner.
Mhm.
So I was a burnout mom, and I remember one day, and I've said this so frequently, welcome Mercury retrograde. Reminisce on this so many times. But I remember standing in the foyer and looking out of the window. And typically at that time, prior to that, I had all dark covered, like all the whatever the dark curtains were, the
The
blackout.
blackouts? Yeah.
And because it was like, it would get too hot and whatever else. And I was like,
Mhm.
I want natural light. So I changed everything to sheer. And I remember looking out of the front door window and I'm like, I don't like who I am. I want to know how to be a happier mom,
Yeah.
be a more regulated mom. Because if you had seen me at around bedtime when the kids were like, hey, let's just go destroy her world for 5 seconds and laugh about it and then go run back to bed and pretend like we're asleep. Whoo, chaos. But even I look at it now, after doing a lot of nervous system regulation and didn't like who I was back then. And I started working on what is slow. What
Mhm.
is steady? Because Taurus is also slow but steady. Like
Yeah.
you can think of it like the freaking, tortoise, the
Yeah.
tortoise and the hare, and I reflect back on this a lot, even with my clients. Like, this is a season to slow down. It's a
Yeah.
season to rest. It's a season you can be productive, you can do those things. But I started honoring more of my time, my energy,
Mm.
just me. How to
Yeah.
choose me and not choose everybody else. That
Yeah.
made me a better mom. That made me a happier mom. Made me a more connected mom. Now, when
Of
I go
course.
for bed, it's not chaos and destruction and all the things because I'm not dysregulated.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm bouncing on the bed with them, like, okay, let's lay down.
And that's that childlike energy within you because you have so much stuff on the child side of the zodiac too. And even thinking about the horizons, I take a look at the horizon, right? The ascendant for the rising sign is literally what's on the horizon, what is rising on
Yeah.
the horizon at the date and time of your birth. And this over here is the descending, right? So what's on the horizon on the other side, what's going down, um
Yeah,
uh,
no, you're right down.
yeah, yeah, down at the date and time of your birth. So whatever's above the horizon is conscious, right? Whatever's below the horizon is unconscious.
That's so interesting. So what you're telling me is that by looking at it this way, all of
Yep.
the conscious is more of the adult. It's why
Yeah.
I think this is why I've been told so many times in certain readings. Number one, I'm such an old soul.
Yeah.
And number two, that I'm quote unquote above others consciously. I've always
Mhm.
felt like I'm like 10 to 15 years ahead of time.
And notice what's above your horizon, right? It's a lot of the outer planets or middle planets. So
Yeah.
you've got Uranus here, which is in retrograde. You've got Neptune also in retrograde. You've got your North Node, and you've got Saturn, which is also in retrograde, as well as your midheaven,
Yeah.
right? So all of those are like very adult themes or collective themes in general. Whereas below the horizon is where most of your chart is, right? You've got Pluto, that's kind of like more adolescent-y on the wheel of the astrological signs.
I
But
feel
then
like I'm out sometimes whenever there's transformations.
yep, yep. You've got Mars, Venus, Jesus. No, that's Mercury. No, that's Venus. Mercury's right here.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. They're the same thing, except one of them had Mercury has the little thing on top. Yeah. So you have Venus, which is also in retrograde,
Yeah.
Mercury and Jupiter all in Leo,
We
right?
talked about this
So
too.
you have big Leo energy. It's just not solely your sun sign, which we talked about. Like you're not your sun sign. You are and you are encompassing of all of your chart, right? So you have a lot of Leo energy.
I know.
You really do. But guess what? You've got 3 planets in Sagittarius too. That's a lot of freaking fire.
Thank you
Uh, yeah.
so much. You know,
So
that's interesting.
that's all under too.
So that's
This
interesting
is all unconscious.
with so much fire sign because I've had so many people tell me, and I guess I do relate more to, I've never even pulled my chart on Sidereal. So
Mhm.
seeing it this way makes so much more sense in different ways because so I took Western astrology even when I was channeling reading it. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm here, even though I've got way more feminine energy, that is my lesson to learn
Mhm.
more of being in the feminine, being in the slow, being
Yeah.
in the steady. Because my
Yeah.
rising here is also in Taurus.
Yeah.
But I do have now in Western astrology, everything's feminine. There's so much feminine energy in there, and I'm like, where? But all of it is perfect water placements, which is
Yeah.
a lot of the work that I do in trauma healing.
Yeah.
That feminine definitely comes out.
Yep.
You notice there's way more masculine, and this proves
Yeah.
where all of my masculine energy is bottled up and, tucked in and everything.
Yeah. You've got like 2 water signs, and they're both in Cancer.
Yep.
And I say two-ish because your sun is not really in Cancer, but it's also not really in Leo. So the other thing I want to say with that too, with you being a literal cusp, like you being the exact line of where they meet. And I wonder too, I'm gonna put this into my my phone so I can see exactly where in the sky, what it's hovering over and what it's all of that stuff, because that's another way to read. Um, that to me is very liminal.
What do you mean?
Liminal as in like the in between, the like not really sure which way to go. The I would assume that with your son being in that exact position, there may be outwardly appearing like trouble with decision making or maybe not feeling as confident in your decisions. Um, especially when they have something to do with emotion or passion, like something you're passionate about.
So it depends. I chase passion.
Yep.
I've always been a person that chases passion, and especially when somebody tells me no.
Yep.
You tell me no, you tell me it ain't gonna work, and boo boo, I'm gonna prove to you it will, and it is. Here it is. I've done showed it to you.
Mhm.
But there are some decisions where fear and fear visibility would block that. So there would be a lot of wavering in those things.
All
Fear
right.
being seen.
Yeah.
But I do like that this is also telling me that my inner child in this life is here to come out and play.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see. So I'm on my phone. You guys probably can't really see it very well, but I'm on an app called Star Walk 2. And what I'm gonna do, oh God, it moved. Why would you move?
Because it's doing the things.
Ah, it changed everything.
Oh no.
August 7th. 1, 3, 30. Okay, go there. So stop moving. What are we looking for? We're looking for the sun. Okay, it's not moving anywhere. So that big dot right there, that's the sun,
Okay.
right? See how close it is to Cancer, right? So you're kind of over the claw,
Yeah.
right? And it only shows one sign at a time. So let me move it over a little bit. You're around the mane of Leo,
Of course I
okay?
am.
Yeah. So like the claw of Cancer and then the mane of Leo. So to me, right, if we think symbolically about it, because that's what I do. That's how I read these things. That's how I work in general, symbolically. The symbolism of the crab kind of claw is more like survival, right? It's a little bit survival because what do they do with the claw? Well, they use it to crack open things so that they can eat them, right? They use it for protection, right? So there probably was a lot of protective mechanisms that you had to use specifically with your emotions in your life. And then with it being really kind of under the head of Leo, the mane of Leo, that's like their outward like appearance. That's how they show people, amongst other things that we won't talk about on this podcast, how much of a lion they are. Their manes can get huge, they can get really small, and the ones with the big manes are the ones that are like the king of the jungle type of thing. So that's like a more, well, this is who I am and this is how I look and like this is what I'm gonna do. And that's just it. And I know that that's what's gonna happen because look at my mane. Of
Mm.
course it's gonna happen? So that confidence piece, that's what I'm kind of feeling with it.
It's interesting that you say it's on the cusp of the claw
Yeah.
because as soon as and also it's in the third house. Third house is about communication, right?
Mm.
I latch on to people's words as a
Oh,
kid.
that's interesting.
I would latch and hold on to other people's words and what they
Yeah.
would. So when they would break those promises, it was definitely a huge sign of betrayal. But I
Yeah.
did latched on to words and through communication because that's how I knew how to best.
Yeah. Mm.
So that's interesting. We'll have to
Ah,
definitely
that's so good.
and do some more even more in depth on different things of consciousness through these things. I definitely learned a lot through this today.
Yeah.
Even I didn't know. Because I mean, like I said, I channel everything. So whenever I'm reading somebody's chart, I'll go into, they'll be like, where do you see this in the chart? And I'm like, bro, I was never in the chart. I just read your energy.
Yeah. I mean, I do the same thing. And what I like to do, yes, I have the chart here, but I'll also take screenshots like of this because so for instance, we both have Mars and Leo, right? Which is not necessarily surprising. We're not that far apart in age,
Yeah.
but your Mars and Leo right here is in the belly.
Mm.
Mine's in the heart. Mine is literally in the heart of Leo. So I get it. I get,
Your heart. And I
yeah.
9 times out of 10 based on it depends, fear
Yeah.
or intuition.
Yep.
Because that's the emotions that get held in those areas. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So I like doing, God, it started moving again. God damn it. I like doing some of that. But even my Saturn in Aquarius is like literally in the waterfall.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I'm like, to me, that's not air.
Nope, that's water.
That's water. And if you, so, God, stop it. Stop being like this phone. Let's go back to Aquarius. Sagittarius. Aquarius, where are you? I just made it all the way around and I Went straight past it. Okay, so not only is that part like here in
Yeah.
Aquarius, but if we look and we just move it slightly, oh look, there's Pisces that kind of overlaps with it,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
right? So
Makes perfect sense. Okay.
when we're looking at the sky this way, we can see the nuances and the complexities of it. So even like this part of the sky, we have Sagittarius here, which is where your moon is, right?
Yeah.
Right in the
No, wait.
stomach.
Sagittarius? No, moon's in Gemini.
What is, oh God, it changed the date again. That's okay. Right now, today, the moon is in Sagittarius.
Okay. I was like, no, moon's in Gemini.
Yep, you're right. It changed the date again because it's being weird. But this is Sagittarius, right? We move over a little bit, trying to like get it so y'all can see. Where the hell is Opheicus? Come on, do the thing. Nope. Of course, as soon as I try to show you, it's like, no. Come on. Okay, so Sagittarius,
Uh-huh. There it is.
there's Scorpio, right? Which overlaps a lot. See if I can get Ophiuchus to come in again. Because he's right in between. There he is. That's Ophiuchus.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a very concentrated part of the sky. So typically, if you have any signs in Scorpio, Ophiuchus, or Sagittarius,
They're gonna overlap.
specifically at the beginning of Sagittarius, they're going to overlap with other things.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because at Sagittarius, I think at the end of it, it's the arrow, right? So you're moving through things, isn't it?
Yeah. So Sagittarius,
Talking about where they're overlapping, isn't it right around in there?
yeah. Sagittarius and Scorpio overlap. It looks like kind of he's shooting the arrow
Yeah.
in Scorpio because there's the arrow right there.
Yeah.
And then Scorpio is like the end of the arrow.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So it looks like he's like
He's
killing the Scorpio.
moving you through the direction. That's what I thought of
Yeah.
through the arrow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we learned a lot today. We'll have to do something like this again.
Yeah. There's so much more to it. There's a whole like I forget what it's called, but I think it's like cosmology or something like that. But each of the astrological signs are associated to different parts of the body and stuff like that's it's all there's so much to
We
this.
need to
Plus
look
we didn't even really yeah.
that.
So
That'll be our next one. We'll talk
that'll
about.
be our next one. I'll give you a little sneak peek. And another reason why Ophiuchus was probably banned, like taken out. Ophiuchus in the body is associated with the cervix,
Oh, interesting. I was not going to say that.
the
That
place of creation, of transformation, of birthing.
that's crazy. Yeah, we're doing next episode. Go ahead, get on the books, whatever you got to do. We're doing this because this will also connect more into, the work that our clients come in for,
Yeah.
connecting through the body and things like that. Thank you so much for your time today and for sharing all those things. That was really,
Thank you for having me again.
and we're bringing you back again because that's the purpose of this. Keep educating, keep showing.
Happy to come back. I know we I think we've talked about 12 different episodes that we
We
could
did.
do together.
We did say last time it would be cycle syncing, and then we were like,
Yes.
never mind astrology.
Yeah.
But at some point, yes, we'll get to cycle syncing which might be more of the after we do the body parts, because
No, we were gonna do
yeah,
moon
that's what
cycle things. Yeah.
I mean, with the moon would be
Yeah.
time after we explain the zodiac, touch the body. So then we can later. So you guys stay
Love
tuned
it.
for all of our next episodes. And I will say this, you will see, because I do partnerships with, a lot of my ladies and members in my podcast, you will see familiar faces pop up again because there's so much more to share with you guys. So, and that's what we're here for. So, thank
Yeah.
you, Courtney, for your time today. I enjoyed this. This episode will actually be released on Friday. So,
Oh,
yeah, we'll get that on the Lionsgate portal of all.
yes. And it will officially be Leo season at that time.
Yes,
Yeah.
according to True Sky. Well,
Yes.
we're already in the zones of it. All right. Well, thank you, ma'am. And we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Hi.